Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of August 22nd, 2023. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December the 21st, 2022, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December the 28th, 2022. Councilman Neglia, would you please say the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Madden, roll call, please.
Mr. Karifi?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Mr. Musella?
Here.
Mr. Neglia?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Business Administrator Jamie Klein, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, Township Clerk Colette Madden, and we also have our CFO here today, Leonard Ho. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, September the 5th, 2023 at 7 p.m. is an agenda meeting. September the 19th, 2023 at 7 p.m. is our regular meeting. Look minutes, please.
Need a motion?
I will move the agenda meeting for 7/11/23 and the regular meeting 7/25/23. Approval of the minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mayor Barbario?
Yes, I have some things to report. First, 2 weeks ago, we had a neighborhood watch, citizens watch group, with, the Mazabrook, and it went very, very well. They were very, involved, very inclined to, keep it going. I'll tell you that our officer, Rima, does an excellent job. I know Paul Karifi, you were there, Councilman, and so was, Councilman Neglia. And the next one we have, I'll invite 2 more other council members, because can't have 3. And then we'll circle around to that. I'd like to also report our farmers market is really going well, very, very well. It was actually a good event this last Friday, and it's coming Friday. If it doesn't rain, this will be another good one. But on September 1st, we'll be having a band, and the residents there love it, but a lot of the residents would like us to move our summer concerts to Friday night, the ones that we have on Thursday, so it could be a bigger event. In regards to Saturday's Indian Independence Day, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the liaison to the Indian community, Jigar Shah, for all his hard work and everything that he did in it. Rajani Patel, who's the president of the Indian American Senior Association. It was a great event. It was well attended, and it definitely exemplifies the diversity here in Parsippany. Today I had the motorcade at the Parsippany Hills High School for football, another great thing that's going on in Parsippany. And also I'd like to talk about the Fall Festival with regards to September 17th. There was statements made on social media, which, if you know me, some to me were derogatory statements with regards to the administration being anti-Jewish, which is not the case. And one of the individuals is here today, which I'm glad to see. With regards to that, this was planned, and so the street fair has always been the 3rd week in September. I changed it last year because we had a food truck festival going on, not aware of the Jewish holiday the following week, which was the 25th at the time. Okay, so we moved it. We brought it back to the 3rd week, which it has always been. Under every mayor, it's been the 3rd week. We did confide with the rabbi from Adat Shalom before we even said the 17th, prior to that. So I did speak to a woman yesterday who emailed me. She said she emailed me during the week. I never received the email, and the reason why I didn't receive it because she was sending it to the wrong email. So we had a discussion, and I said I'll try to move it to the 24th. So then we decided to move it to September 24th, and then that was another Jewish holiday, which is Rosh Hashanah. So I called the rabbi back, I spoke with him, and he said, listen, Rosh Hashanah is on the Sunday. You know, he had no issue with us having it on the Sunday. So I decided, you know what, to avoid it all, we're gonna move it to October 1st. So October 1st will be the Fall Festival this year, going forward. But there was no intentions of insulting anybody. And anybody that wants to make derogatory statements with regards to this administration being anti-Jewish is false and it's not true. I work with a lot of the rabbis in town. I know them personally, and we have a great reputation with them. Not only that, a great relationship with them. And the rabbi even said that to me yesterday. So when people want to go on social media and pound their chest and become keyboard warriors, all you had to do was call me. That's all you have to do. Just call, pick up the phone, call me. Like I spoke to the woman yesterday. We had a great conversation. I said we'll be more cognitive in the future. We have all the holidays going on from 24, 25, so we kind of know every holiday that there is. But that being said, it has always been on the third Sunday since the street fair started. When Kiwanis started it, I forget when, and then the township took it over. So with that being said, I do have some other statements I would like to make, if you want to give me the time, Councilwoman.
Of course.
With regards to an article that was put in and paid for by the Democrats into the Parsippany Focus, and I'm going to explain this, and I think it's important, because what I'm not in favor of, I have no issue with people disagreeing with me on their views, on things like that. But putting false information in a local paper with regards to massive tax hikes and all that kind of stuff, when we've had budget meetings and we explained our position. But it was ignored anyway. So this message was from Judy Hernandez, Bernard Clark, and Matt Kavanaugh. And I'm just going to point out some of the stuff that they talk about with regards to what this administration done wrong. But the funny thing is they fell asleep over the past 4 years from 18, 19, 20, and 21. Mr. Clarkson likes to boast that he's a CPA, but I guess his skills weren't really effective in those other years. But with that being said, I just want to read some things that was stated in that Focus article, which I really thought I was reading the Star magazine and the Sun magazine at the time. But in 2023 alone, this is coming from the Democrats. This mayor and council passed a massive, undefined $750,000 salary adjustment, nearly 4 times the $200,000 salary adjustment included in the prior budget. So we explained at the budget meeting. Of course, I can't go after Matt Kavanaugh because he wasn't even in existence at that time. That $750,000, and I have our CFO here, was put in there for adjustments that might have to be made, considering we are negotiating 4 contracts. They knew this. In fact, Bernie Clarkin said that he spoke to a BA from another town. I don't know if you remember this conversation. And from what I understand, the BA said this might be a way that they hide money and stuff like that. And I stated back, and I said it again, that if Mr. Clarkin wants to bring that BA in to sit down with our BA and with myself, we'd be more than happy to educate that person, him or her, whoever it is. But we heard nothing back. Then you hear the mayor has also budgeted $1,091,000 for salaries and expenses in his own office and administrator's office. This is a $264,000 increase, which equates to them 32% increase over $827,000 paid just in 2022. We explained this, and they failed to understand it. What we did was we redirected certain positions to the proper departments. So by doing that, when you redirect it from another department to the proper department, if you increase one department 30%, you're decreasing the other department by 32, so it's a wash. And we explained that, but of course that fell on deaf ears. Now they like to use the word sewer raid, that we've been raiding the sewer. But I guess 18, 19, 20, and 21, they didn't, you know, I guess nobody rated it then, when it was left, total surpluses of $23 million. And now we had no surplus in 2021, but that's beside the point. It just doesn't go away automatically. But what they failed to state and tell you that, they said that we use 1.8 million in surplus, okay, and we increased spending by that much. What we did was, we used surplus from the sewer, and we explained, we replenished it from one year to the other. Those prior years, it was never replenished, but it was also used in those prior years as anticipated revenue, which I'm gonna get to. Because anticipated revenues is where the township, in those 4 years, now I wish the former mayor was here, but he's not. You know, of course, they send up other people to come after me, which is fine, I'm fine with that. And we're gonna get to the over anticipation of revenues, because that's how we got into the hole, and that's why the township had to fix what was broken. But of course, we explained that to them, and that fell on deaf ears. So let's talk about the anticipation of revenue, which was grossly overestimated in 2021. You see, the council, they keep saying that the council, they voted on the 4 budgets. The last budget the council voted on, they were pretty much forced to vote on it, because the DCA said if you don't vote on it, if I can quite remember, you're gonna be fined. I forget how much it was, an astronomical amount, that if you didn't vote on it. What the DCA allowed the former administration to do was use the law of average over the last so many years to figure out its revenues and its budget, which the local finance board does not allow towns to do. But they gave them special dispensation. What's that mean? They let them break the laws and the rules for that 1 year. So they grossly overestimated the revenues. By how much? Going into 2022, the revenues were under $8.5 million. $8.5 million. Well, we have to make that money up. Okay, so that's why the town got into the situation it was in. Now, I went over this with our auditor when I came back in 2022. We had a lot of things we had to figure out for this town, and we did it. And she's gonna get to that later on. Okay, but they failed to tell you that. And, you know, what I find funny is how they want to come up and voice that this administration did this, that, and this. Well, no, we put it back onto financial stability is what we've done, and that will be explained later on with regards to that. I mean, Mr. Clarkin's not here tonight, and I wish he was here, but he's not. I'm sure he'll come up to the next meeting. But he does come up. I'm a CPA, but there's a difference between a CPA and a CMFO. A Chief Municipal Financial Officer, which Len Ho is, certified with the state of New Jersey. Corporate accounting, as you know, and individual accounting is a lot different than public accounting in townships. It's a lot different, okay? We explain so many of these things that they put in there that it becomes frustrating to continue to listen to it and think that I'm not going to respond. For 4 years, Rome was burning, and Mr. Clarkin was nowhere to be found. None of them were anywhere to be found. Just to understand the fact that they keep saying that the former mayor, Sariano, stopped using the surplus. Why did he stop using it? Because he used it all. There's none left to use. That's why it stopped. It didn't stop magically because he decided he wanted to stop it. There was no surplus to use in 2021. That's why it stopped. Okay, but he used it significantly over 18, 19, 20. And if you look at, and you go to the records of 2010, starting in 11, 12, 13, you get to see the percentages of how our surplus increased. When you get to 18, 19, 20, it starts to decrease. And it goes down, 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 and down. Okay? To sit here and say he stopped rating, well, he had no choice because he didn't have it. Okay, with that being said, what you asked for, I have no problem, and I never have had a problem with somebody disagreeing with me with methods, the way you do things. But to come up there, to put an article in, a full-page article, that is not factual, I'm going to respond to. And it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, if you're not going to be truthful, then you're going to have an issue. It's that simple. I can't wait for the order to come up. We got a really good report this year, and we're very prudent in what we've done. in 2022. They keep saying that the mayor and the administration and the council raised taxes 14.63%. They don't know the difference between a tax levy and a tax rate. You need to know the difference between both of them. A tax levy is the increase of the budget increasing from one year to the other. That is not your tax rate. That is not where your taxes increase. The increase in 2022 was 3.3% total, not 14.63% on the tax rate. Yes, the budget did increase by that much. Why? Because you were $8.5 million in the hole when I first stepped foot in the door. That is why. And if you want to straighten out the town, and you think you're going to sit here and have zero or no tax increases after you go for $8.5 million deficit, good luck. You can't run a town. Well, I wasn't going to let that happen. I'm running a town, and we're running it better than it's been run before. That being said, I thank you, Council President, for giving me the opportunity to speak, and I'm sure members of the public are going to challenge me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Township Council, I have something in regard to our Economic Development Committee. On August the 12th, there was a ribbon-cutting ceremony for Eli's Eatery and Huckleberry Children Play Center at the Galleria 10 Mall. The Economic Development Committee will be presenting a plaque to Training Innovations, 90 Halsey Road, Suite 305, on Wednesday, August the 23rd at 5 p.m. They are celebrating 1 year of their podcast on helping small businesses. We will also have an open house and a ribbon cutting at AFC Urgent Care, 1160 Route 46 West, on Wednesday, August the 23rd at 5:30 p.m. They will also be hosting an open house from 4:30 to 6:30, and the public is invited. Our next Economic Development Committee meeting is on Wednesday, September the 6th, at 6:30 p.m. at 90 East Halsey Road, third floor conference room. The public is invited. Please RSVP to Chairman Frank Cahill at 973-559-6000. Any other council members would like to speak?
I have two items, Council President. I'm sorry Bernie is not here tonight, because first statement is to him. First, he challenged me last donations that I received at the public meeting, at our last meeting, implying that there was something illegal. They were legally received and legally reported, but he implied. And then he writes a poison pen letter, the keyboard warrior, attacking my integrity and my reputation. I'm sorry he's not here to hear this, but I'm sure he'll get back to him. Bernie's accusations and assumptions are pathetic. I heard somewhere that liars and thieves judge everyone by their standards. Not sure if this is the case here, but I do need to set the record straight. The park development that Bernie refers to was a part of round 3 of Parsippany's affordable housing agreement with the New Jersey courts. On the Township Council and on the Planning Board, included several other locations also that were part of our agreement with the courts. I did not seek donations from Park or any other location during that period, and they did not offer any. After serving Parsippany Township in many capacities for the past 58 years, 46 of those years as an elected official, I decided not to seek re-election. My term on the Township Council ends on December 31st, 2023, and so does my 25-year service to the Planning Board. So why would anyone want to donate to me? The reasons are simple. I have been involved in many, many organizations over that time that have touched many lives. When Money Magazine and other publications list Parsippany as one of the best places to live and work, I like to feel that I have been a part of the collective wisdom that got us here. Some of those people whose lives that I have touched want me to stay involved in Parsippany even after my term ends. The Little Leagues, soccer, tricky trays, ad journals, fundraisers for so many worthy organizations in town cost money. For the past 40 years, all of my township council salary and some of my election fund donations have gone back to those organizations in town. The $7,800 that you are so concerned about, that's you being Bernie, will all go back to those organizations until the money runs out. Bernie is the only person in 58 years attempting to question my integrity and tarnish my reputation. At all of the organizations and committees that I have led, participated in, or supported in those 58 years, I have never seen Bernie at any of them. He is an opportunist and has only looked out for himself. I sincerely hope that he's not elected. I wish he was here to hear me say that in person. I'm sure it'll get back to him. And my second message is the same article that the mayor referred to from Hernandez, Clarkin, and Kavanaugh. The council campaigns are heating up, and along with it, distortions and half-truths become the norm. I would normally just endorse Karifi, Kendall, and McGrath as the best candidates to continue restoring fiscal responsibility to Parsippany. However, the Democratic candidates for council are expressing alarm about the budget increases in 2022 and 2023, produced by the all-Republican mayor and council. Where were they for the 4 years under Michael Soriano, 2018 to 2021? During the 4 years under Soriano, the fund balances of the water department, sewer department, Knoll Utility, and Township were reduced from $8 million to $680 surplus. He constantly pushed the can down the road whenever he could get away with it. Soriano delivered his State of the Town address at a special meeting that he called on Friday, February 7th, 2020. His speech was filled with doom and gloom, which he blamed on everybody but himself. He blamed the zoning board, he blamed the township council, he blamed the previous administration. He was setting us up for a huge increase in taxes that he would propose in the 2020 budget. The BA, Fred Carr, and Soriano issued an order to defer all capital spending to 2022, eliminate all scheduled overtime, eliminate all professional education or attendance at training seminars unless required by collective bargaining, eliminate attendance at the New Jersey League of Municipalities, freeze all hiring, except Soriano could continue to hire all of his cronies, and freeze all promotions. This mandate produced a serious manpower shortage in the police department, DPW, parks and forestry, buildings, the utilities, and all the other departments. Despite all of this, Soriano wanted the council to approve a budget that was not statutorily correct, including a $5 million loan, plus interest that must be paid off within 5 years, and a fund balance of $1 million that may not be used, overestimating revenue and underestimating expenses. He blamed the previous administration for not leaving him enough surplus. The township auditors had identified a number of serious errors in the budget and could not certify his budgets. All of these deferments simply pushed the can down the road. Every department had to fill those vacancies starting in 2022 and continuing into 2023. Where were Hernandez, Clarkin, and Kavanaugh during Soriano's fiasco? Why weren't they concerned about the budget during those 4 years? We certainly could have used their help in reining in Soriano's mismanagement. They didn't even offer a whimper. The only positive is that the 2 Democrats on the Township Council also voted not to allow Soriano to borrow $5 million to balance his budget. Credit to those 2 councilwomen.
Is there anyone else from the council that would like to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Okay.
Well, first, I didn't see this article until it was handed to me today, and I can't tell you how disheartened I am to read it on how a man Mr. Clark can say such things about Mr. DiPiero, who's done so much for this community. I've been involved with Little League since 1988, and Mr. DiPiero has not only sponsored one team, but sometimes many teams during the course of every year I've been involved. And that same goes for the other Little Leagues, the soccer clubs, all the cancer societies that ask for donations and so forth. And I can understand why he accepted some of these donations, which were perfectly legal and reported, because he wants to continue to give back to the community he loves so much. So I'm very disappointed in Mr. Clark, and I thought much more of him than this. But for him to go and publicly say something like this and then go and write something like this, it's very disheartening to know that he's this type of human being. Thank you.
Anybody else? I was a running mate with Mr. DiPiero. I'm glad that you're smiling, because it was a great experience for me to be his running mate with Mr. Carifi also for these past 8 years. I have known Mike for over 35 years. And the article that was placed by Mr. Clarkin was disheartening. Mike is asked to go to many events. And yes, we don't go for free. We are asked to make a donation. And everything that Mr. DiPiero has received monetarily are on his elect reports. Nothing is being hidden. And it was my honor, and I say that truthfully from my heart, that it was my honor to be a candidate and to be his running mate these last 8 years. Township Attorney, Mr. Lavery.
Yes, no report, Council President.
Business Administrator, Mr. Cryan.
Thank you, Council President. Just real quickly, I wanted to talk about the audit. Valerie Dolan, our auditor, is here with Len Ho, our CMFO. The 22 audit, we had an exit interview last week regarding this, and a couple of the terms that were talked about, just to kind of summarize it real quickly. There's no major incidents. Overall, it's 1,000 times better than before. The finances are finally stabilized. Those are a couple of things that were mentioned. If you don't have an understanding of what an audit is, it's an independent look into our finances. So you have an independent auditor who is bound by their ethics and also by generally accepted accounting principles and standards from the Comptroller's Office and standards from DCA that gives them a framework of how to do the audit. And in order to not waste any more time, I'll turn this over to Len and Valerie.
Great. Ms. Dolan, please. Mr. Ho.
Oh. Just tap to see if it's on.
No, no.
The batteries, did all have batteries in a row? Every time, right? Batteries are always.
You did change the batteries.
There you go.
There you go.
Batteries for every birthday present. Good evening, everybody. Yes, once again, I am here to present the audit. Once again, want to say it's actually a pleasure to come to Parsippany and do the audit. For those who our audit is a very involved process. We start usually, and we are probably here and processing probably a good month worth of time we spend going through all of the information that Township provides. I do want to give you a few financial highlights. The tax collection rate for the Township was 99.35%, which is a fantastic collection rate. Now I want to cover some fund balance issues. Fund balance, the current fund balance as of December 31st, 2022 was $6,437,746, which is actually an increase of a little over $5 million. That puts that fund balance back to where you were at the pre-pandemic level. So we're back to where we were in 2019, which I'm happy to report. Also, really, the realization on this $5 million really came from a few main reasons. Number one, obviously, there was some settlement of large numbers of interfunds that were in the report, that restricted fund balance, that were all cleared. There were multiple deferred charges that were required to be raised in the '22 budget that were related to deficits in operations, over expenditures that occurred in both budgets of 2020 and 2021. All of that money was funded and paid off during the '22 year, bringing your finances and rebuilding your surplus. Your water utility fund balance had a little over $3.4 million, which was also an increase of about $400,000. Your sewer utility had $5.6 million, which is also an increase of about $300,000. So the utilities are also starting their rebound. And then lastly, the golf utility actually has the one utility that had a decline, and it had a decline of about $400,000, but that was mainly due to some capital that was being spent and fund balance that was being anticipated for the golf utility. Interestingly enough, during the pandemic years, only increases that you had in 2021 and 22 and in 20 and 21 was in the golf utility. All the other surpluses were such a decline. Golf kind of held their own, and now they're feeling their own. I am happy to report, as the administrator said, that 7 of the 13 recommendations in last year's audit were resolved. All 7 of those were in the area of finance. So I'm very happy to say those finance recommendations. You are in the process of resolving the other few recommendations, which at this point I would say are merely housekeeping type recommendations. Glenn your CFO, did a fantastic job clearing the most important and critical recommendations in '22, and now he's going to address the little housekeeping cleanup type recommendations. The report also has 2 suggestions to management, which are my report to future audits for the township. One of them is a new accounting standard, because, the accounting, we must keep ourselves occupied by constantly releasing new standards. So once again, for next year's audit, I'll have a new standard to implement. Fortunately for a municipality, it's more than the disclosure only. It doesn't affect the financial statements. And then secondly is the area of pandemic funding. The township received large numbers of dollars from the federal government. We audited them through our program, through our single audit and our audit. However, they are subject to federal audit. They could come out at any time and look at any individual expense that you had within those programs. And sometimes we always say, we're difficult auditors. When they come in, there's no negotiations. This is either right or it's incorrect. Fortunately, when we came through and we audited them the first year, we did have a finding, but in the second year, that finding has been resolved. So we are in great shape for the federal funds, for those FEMA funds, but it's possible they could come out and look at your records. I did want to say, this is the rebound. '22 is a rebound year. Hopefully we are on the right trajectory to bring you back. So if you have any questions, I am here to answer questions for you.
Council, are any questions?
I'd just like to thank Valerie for her dedication. She put in a lot of time during 2018 and 2021 to try to get us on the right track. And we're back now. Thank you, Valerie.
I'd also like to make a comment that your firm worked very hard during 2022 to get us where we are. And there was a lot of discussions, and she knows, not heated so much, the fact that some tough decisions had to be made. And they were very upfront with me, what had to be done. And the only course we had was the one we had last year. And we tried every way to not move forward that way, but it did fix the problem. We talked about that. It fixed the problem significantly. And not only that, we're looking in 24 and 25, our rateable base is going to increase by $200 million, and possibly more. Once Topgolf is done, the Chick-fil-A, but there's other factors involved in that. And you're looking at close to, and I could be wrong, but don't quote me on it, I'm just going to give a ballpark figure, about $6 million in extra revenue coming into the town. And that's going to be a significant amount of money. So, a lot of things went into it, a lot of tough decisions went into it, but I don't mean this in any way negative to anybody. I have no problem making a tough decision, none whatsoever. And I'll continue to make them, as long as the town can rebound the way it rebounded. So Valerie, I want to thank you, Ray, and everybody for your, the time that was put in. I know we went above and beyond, and, Council Vice President made a very good, point. When you take the infrastructure, you take the capital budget, and you offset it for another year, which is 2022, which is what they did, we had, and when, residents are upset, the roads are in disrepair. Well, yeah, they are, because nothing was done in 2021 and 21 and some in 20. Once you start canceling out and you start to, move over your capital, not only does it get worse to try to catch up, it gets more expensive. And that's basically what was happening here in Parsippany. Our numbers are up on the capital portion of it. We're trying to fix as many roads as we can. You saw, I gave you guys the anticipated, road work that's gonna happen, but we're behind. And it's not due to the fact that we couldn't do it, it's because it wasn't funded. So thank you, Valerie.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
No? Any council members would like to talk about their committee reports? Don't see any. Engineering, please.
Engineering Report 2021 Road Resurfacing Curb and Sidewalk Program. The annual road resurfacing curb and sidewalk project is on hold pending negotiations with the contractor. No council action required. Rockaway River flood wall levee inspection. Our consultant is working on preparing design details and a cost estimate for the maintenance and repair work to the flood wall and levee. Recent site inspections were made to aid the design of the repairs. Once the design and necessary permitting is complete, the project will be advertised for bid. No council action required. North Beverick Road Streetscape Project Phase 1. The bids for the first phase of North Beverick Road Streetscape were opened May 3rd, 2023, and the total bid prices were significantly higher than budgeted. We were granted an extension to award the project, and we will rebid the project at a more appropriate time. No council action required. 2023 Road Resurfacing Curb Sidewalk Program. The annual road resurfacing curb sidewalk project is in construction. Work is anticipated to continue into the middle of August. No council action required. Mount Tabor Street Improvements, Phase 7. Construction of the Mount Tabor Improvements, Phase 7 project has begun. We anticipate work continuing through September. No council action required. Drumlin Drive Stream Cleaning. The NJDEP permits have been issued for this project. Our consultant is finishing the design, and we intend to bid the project later this year. No council action required. Pudding Stone Heights Road Improvement Project, Phase 2. The second phase of Pudding Stone Heights Road Improvement Project is in design. We anticipated bidding this project later this year. No council action required. Jefferson Road Improvements. We received a $760,000 NJDOT grant for improvements to Jefferson Road from Parsippany Road to Smith Road. The improvements include the resurfacing of the roadway, minor intersection upgrades, and significant drainage improvements, particularly near the East Halsey Road intersection. Permit applications and plans are being prepared. The project will be bid once NJDEP permits have been issued. No council action required. Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements. The first phase of the Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements project is in design. We anticipate bidding this project later this year. No council action required. Sylvan Way Culvert Improvements. We are working with our design professionals on the preparation of plans and the NJDEP permit application. We anticipate bidding this project in early 2024. No council action required. Roadway design projects. The following projects are in design where proposals have been requested. Troy Brook Stream Cleaning, Sylvan Way Sidewalk Improvements, River and Stream Desnagging Plans and Permits, Etton Road Traffic Study. No council action required.
Thank you. There are no correspondence. Bids taken. To be taken, 8/24/23 wastewater treatment plant structural repairs. On 8/30/23, 2025 Ford E450 Type 3 Class 1 ambulance. And there are no proposals or quotations.
Public session. I'd like to make a motion to open public session.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes,
The floor is open to the public. You have 5 minutes to speak. Please just state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Raymond Gallup. I read the Parsippany Patch article of July 20th, 2023. It was titled 150K plus salaries for Parsippany superintendent and principals. And I saw that the superintendent was making $247,500 a year, and then it went down for other people to in the 190,000 range and so forth. And I looked at my tax bill. The district school tax is more than 60% of the township bill on my taxes. I also looked on the Parsippany Board of Ed, May 11, 2023, the superintendent bulletins prior year, pages 67 to 86, and I noted that there was 320 people plus making 100,000 or more a year, and I totaled it up and it came to about $37 million and 700,000. Now, that doesn't include health benefits and retirement and so forth, and it doesn't include people making less than that a year. So I just wanted to ask, I noticed on the tax bill there's a deduction for veterans. I would hope that they would be considered, like each year as the taxes go up, that the deduction would go up as well, because it's like $250 now. And I would just bring it to your attention, and I hope they would be considered, as well as retirees living on fixed incomes, that they have some kind of deduction as well, because the tax bills are, as you know, they're going in one direction, they're going up all the time. So that's all that I can contribute.
Really, that the school board's autonomous from the municipal government, so we really don't have a say in salaries. But the only question I have, not a question, is I don't know if you fill out, I think it's an ST1 form where your taxes can get frozen. I don't know if you do that, but if you contact and we can help you out with that, our tax assessor, that's where they freeze seniors' taxes. I don't know if you do that, but that's something that you might want to consider if you don't do it. And so you can call my office tomorrow, and I'll direct you to our tax assessor. ST1. I think that's it.
Hi, good evening. Is this spell on?
Yes, it is.
Sorry. My name is Kendra Von Aiken. I'm coming to you tonight to point out that this year's Fall Festival was originally planned for the second day of Rosh Hashanah, one of the high holy days of the Jewish religion. As of this morning, it had been moved to the 24th, which is Erev Yom Kippur, the day leading into the holiest day of our year. I appreciate learning tonight that it has been moved to October 1st instead. Mayor, you stated tonight that it has always been done on the third Sunday in September. While this does make things easier for scheduling and planning a big event like this, it also doesn't take into consideration the religious holidays that are not static every year. They follow a lunar calendar. It took me 30 seconds yesterday to Google and find a list of all religious holidays for 2023 to determine what a better date would have been for the Fall Festival, and the first is where I had landed. We live in a diverse town with lots of cultures and religions represented. There's an interfaith council which meets to discuss issues and concerns around the community. Last year, I know for a fact that several rabbis contacted the town council leadership requesting a rescheduled town council meeting since the rescheduled date fell on Yom Kippur. Again, the most holy day in the Jewish religion. It would have taken a quick email or phone call to any one of the wonderful clergy in this town to ask which dates to avoid scheduling meetings and events on. It didn't seem like that had happened. In fact, this should be done at the beginning of every year before scheduling town events and meetings. I feel bad for the vendors that have committed to the Fall Festival thinking it's going to be on September 17th and now finding out just 2.5 weeks prior that it's being rescheduled. The fact that Jewish holidays have not been considered now 2 years in a row by the town when scheduling events is insulting. I'd like an explanation of why this is happening and why I shouldn't consider this administration adversaries to the Jewish community. Thank you.
I'll answer that question real simple, because we're not. And when you go on social media as a public official, which you are, and you call out and you say, we're pretty much saying we're like anti-Semitic, in a way. We are not. We're not anti-Jewish. We're not anti-anything. I base what I believe,
Yeah, of course.
what's that?
No, I'm sorry, sir.
And I read what you wrote in there, and it's pretty darn derogatory, saying that the administration doesn't care. That's nonsense. That's a way for you to get attention. That's all that was. Now, that would be like me confronting you at a Board of Education meeting, which I'm going to probably do. But the bottom line is that you used words that incited people. But those people actually called me, and we had great dialogue and great discussion. You did not call me.
May I reply?
No, I'm sorry, you've had your 5 minutes.
I had 2 minutes.
No, there's no back and forth.
There's no back and forth, I'm sorry.
Okay, so he can insult me without,
Well, I'll bid you at the school board. We can do it then.
that would be completely unprofessional, but you do.
But
So
this,
what you
but,
just did
but
wasn't-
this is not, as an elected official. You called me as an elected official, I'm calling you as an elected official.
Okay. Anyone else would like to come forward, please? Oh, who should?
Hi, Betty Wyka. Just had a question. I was looking at the sign ordinance for the town and the rules for what signs can be put up where, just to make sure things are being followed. And I noticed that campaign signage is supposed to come down 14 days post-event. At least that's what the website said. And I noticed that there's quite a few campaign signs still up all around town. So I thought I would just bring it to your attention. I know we have a candidate and the head of the Republican committee here, so I thought maybe you guys could look into that. On my way here from Troy Hills, I saw no less than 3, and I've seen 5 on my way to ShopRite. So if you could help out with that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's Mr. Jim. Yes.
Just your name. Just state your name on the record. You don't need to, you're fine. You just state your name on the record.
My name. It's on.
It's on.
Yeah, you're on, yeah. My name is Bob Venezia, and I live at 102 Drive.
Mr. Venezia, we don't need your address anymore. You'd like to state it? Yes,
I want to say it.
yes, I know that.
So that you know I am from Parsippany and not a carpetbagger.
Yes. You've stated that previously. Thank you.
Before I get to my main topic, I just want to make a quick comment about some of the budget discussion that's been going on up here. The previous administration made a lot of fiscal mistakes, but I think you're a little unfair when you say with this accusations of, kicking the can down the road, because I was here at all the budget meetings, and the mayor always presented budget increases of, 6.8, 9, and they always got knocked down to 3 and 2. So, I mean, he wanted to increase the budget, and you guys, you wouldn't let him, you knocked them down. So if there was, you guys were complicit in kicking the can down the road because you didn't let him get the increases that he wanted. And then when the new administration came in, he said, I want 14.3. Oh, you got it. And the second thing was with regard to the water and sewer. That's another one where he really didn't kick the can down the road. It's true, he used it. He used the water and sewer utility money, and it went down to 0. When it went down to 0, what did he do, and what did you guys do? To your credit, you made an increase of 39.6% in the water and sewer. That was not kicking the can down the road. As a matter of fact, he created the surplus that enabled the new administration to use, in its budgets now. If it wasn't, for that 39% increase, there wouldn't be any transferring of money. And I'm really sorry that that has started up again, because once you start it, you cannot stop it. Okay, now to what I came here to talk about. At a recent council meeting, the mayor mentioned that there are too many vacant and underutilized office properties in Parsippany, and that the tax assessor doesn't expect the office market to recover until 2045. I would like to know what the tax assessor's future expectations are for the apartment market. In my opinion, the population growth for Parsippany, Morris County, and the state of New Jersey will not be able to absorb the overwhelming number of apartment units currently under construction or projected to be constructed soon. To make matters worse, many of the people who can afford to rent these apartments are fleeing the state. I believe that we're following down the same path of overdevelopment as that which caused the commercial glut that we're dealing with today. In fact, it seems to me that many of the apartment complexes under construction today will become the properties in need of rehabilitation tomorrow. I would really like to hear the tax assessor's view of the long-term apartment market. If he shares a similar opinion as mine, then I would like the council to develop a plan now so that Parsippany does not have to deal with vacant and underutilized apartment buildings in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Massey.
Just one quick response to that, if you don't mind, Council
No,
President.
please.
And let me correct myself, it's 2040, not 2045. I made a mistake with that with regards to the office market. We have a great tax assessor, and we're bound by certain things that the state requires us to meet, which is not by doing any municipality, and one of them is the affordable housing. And that the next round of affordable housing is in 2025, the Mount Laurel. That we're gonna get slammed again, but these office buildings have to be repurposed. Or our ratables are gonna tank. That's what's gonna happen. So we're trying to find the best methods of what we can do. We lucked out with Top Golf. That could have been 600 units over there. We're lucking out with possibly a Lifetime Fitness. That could be another 600-700 units over by the Century Drive, Matt Cali over there. So far, we've scathed any type of residential, but that's going to end. Why? Because then I can have the tax assessor come to a meeting and give his opinion on it with regards to the apartments. But knowing and being an affordable housing administrator myself, you start to see clearly what the state is. Not just Parsippany. It's Montville. Montville's getting hammered. All the towns are going to get hammered. And, we could talk about all the other things that were passed prior. And, let's face it, the Board of Adjustments, the Planning Board are bound by the strict orders of the courts to abide by them. And everybody wants to challenge me on that and say that's not true. Okay, well, if it's not true, then try to deny a project and see what happens when it becomes inherently beneficial use, and the courts come and take all your zoning rights away. That's what'll happen. That's what happened in Englewood Cliffs, and that's what's gonna happen in Parsippany if we decide not to negotiate with these developers. That's what's happening, and it's a shame. It shouldn't happen, but the legislators in the state, for some reason, can't find a way to change the way the affordable housing criteria is. And who's it lie on? It lies on us. Why? And you come and you call us out, and you have every right to do that. Why? Because we vote on the town that we live in, not the legislators. They vote in Trenton. So it's a lot different. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, because I know the law pretty well. I know what's coming our way. And I think the only thing we can do is educate the public by having seminars at the high schools with the top affordable housing attorneys to explain to the residents what's coming to Parsippany, what's coming to Morris County, what's coming to Essex County, what's coming to all the counties in the state, and not by the means and control of our own municipality. It's state, can't make a decision. This courts did, so when the Supreme Court made their decision, good luck trying, and you're bound by it. And that's what it is. So, The only thing we have left to do is negotiate the numbers down as much as we can get them. So, thank you.
Anyone
Make
else?
a,
Go ahead.
I was gonna make a motion to close the public
Please.
meeting.
Second.
Oh, we have somebody, no, you can come up, man.
Oh, I didn't see you.
This is my first time coming to the public, so I wasn't sure when I could come up. Hi, my name is Susanna, and I work here in Parsippany on Jefferson Road, between Smith Road and Parsippany Boulevard, or Parsippany Avenue. And I wanted to address the resurfacing project that's happening here. I would like to suggest that in that project, you would add a bike lane or a sidewalk. And why I suggest this is because in that line, there are bus stops for the 79X bus and for the 874. And as someone who has taken that bus and had to cross the street or to wait before and after work, I noticed that it's pretty hard to cross. The cars go 35 miles per hour, and during rush time, trying to get into the office, like more highly trafficked, and people are, trying to speed to get to the 8 o'clock, to their 8 o'clock meetings. So I was looking into it. I really believe that this would be a great idea because there are a lot of initiatives and, several grants to add micro-mobility pedestrian facilities to towns. And some of those grants are the Safe Streets for All grant and the Transportation Alternatives grant, which I'm sure you might be familiar with. And I also read the Parsippany Master Plan that was published in, I believe, the past few years. And I saw that one of the goals was to adopt a complete streets initiative when building. And another one would be the access to the town trails. So just off of Jefferson Road, there is a Sheraton walking trail. If you were to expand like a sidewalk or a bike lane on Jefferson Road, it would also connect with the Hanover Patriots Path Trail. So that's meeting up another goal that was set in the Parsippany Master Plan. And it would also make office buildings more attractive to sellers. I know we just spoke about, the office building market being hit. I believe that in the future, or the future of work, people are going to want different methods of getting to and from work. Also wanted to address, because I knew that Park Parsippany and 15 at Route 10, those developments are going to be trying to bring in more people. So we would, along with those and the the potential future increase of traffic, also stated by the master plan, we really want to build other types of transportation. So that is my transportation, or my advice to the township, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you. I'll ask our BAs, would it be possible to have the township engineer look at maybe striping a walking path along one of those roads?
We can definitely take a look at that.
Anybody else? Seeing nobody come forward, I'd like to make a motion to close the public meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Ordinance 2023, semicolon 10, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430, zoning article XLI, wireless telecommunications of the Code of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at the meeting of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19, 2023 at 7 p.m. Prevailing time or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:11, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430 zoning, Section 430-8, terms defined of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And, Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:12, an ordinance of the Township Council of Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430 zoning, Section 430-277.1, electric vehicle supply service equipment of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced read by title and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Prevailing time or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above ordinance by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:13, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430 zoning, Section 430-267, development regulations of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:14, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430 zoning of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at the meeting to be held on September 19, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Actually, that was Mr. Neglia, and then I seconded.
Oh, so the motion was made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:15. Bond ordinance providing for the purchase of various equipment for the golf utility of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, the Township, appropriating $216,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $205,710 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:16, bond ordinance providing for various 2023 capital acquisitions and improvements for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, the Township appropriating, $9,311,700, therefore authorizing the issuance of $8,868,271 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance was introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at the meeting of the Township Council of the Township, Parsippany-Troy Hills, held on August 22nd, 2023. That said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above ordinance by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:17, bond ordinance providing for various sewer utility capital improvements in and by the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $6.4 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6.4 million in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:18, bond ordinance providing for the replacement of various wells for the water utility of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,650,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,650,000 in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on the first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given the opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:19. Bond ordinance providing for the replacement of the Lake Hiawatha Pump Station in and by the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,100,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,100,000 bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on August 22nd, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on September 19th, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Non-consent agenda, resolutions, please.
Resolution 2023-121, declaring property identified as Block 202, Lot 1.9, and located at 6 Sylvan Way as an area in need of redevelopment in a non-condemnation basis. Motion to approve the resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Wait, are you doing the consent agenda?
Non-consent agenda.
Okay, non-consent, yeah. Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
No, Mr. Karifi, Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
I said yes.
Yeah, I know, I was going in the order.
Yes,
Mr.
again.
Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2023-122, Township Council certification of the annual audit. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2023-123, approve correction action plan 2022 municipal audit. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2023-124, authorizing cancellations of grant fund receivables and appropriated reserve balances. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2023-125, cancel unexpended dedicated balances and general utility capital appropriations. Motion to approve the resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda, be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do an application first, or? No?
No, that's under resolution.
That's all part of it.
Okay. Approval of payroll and bills list. CFO Leonard Ho recommends authorization for payment. Authorized payment of August 18, 2023. Regular and miscellaneous payroll of $1,650,000. Payment of bills from voucher list of 8/15/23 through 8/17/23, $2,546,375.54. Motion to approve the authorization for payment above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Blank.
Mr. DePiero? Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned. Have a great night, everybody.
Now, table.
I shouldn't do it.